on the preparation of budgets, especially the startup budget, when the commission just assumed office and started working? Who prepared the startup budget for the running of the commission?
The Ministry of Justice. I told you we had no budget whatsoever. I think that was one of the first things
Indeed, you did.
First things I said.
Indeed, you did.
I suppose the Minister of Justice would do his budget, and I know, I have to tell you that the draft of the first budget came from the ministry to us, and all of us sat in the ministry's office to have a general discussion on it. But then remember, we were given only 3 months to do to deliver our report, submit our report. 3 months.
That's interesting, Mr. Janneh. Where is it indicated that the committee was given 3 months?
Well,
the commission rather was given 3 months.
I can't remember that, but there is no doubt that we were maybe it's given in the TOR.
Can you direct us to it?
Maybe it's in the TOR, but there is no doubt that it was 3. That was the expectation of everyone. Maybe it's there in the. Sorry.
So if we could look at clause 8, the last page.
Sorry, 12?
Clause 8.
8, okay.
That should be the last page of the notice before the annex or the schedule.
Yeah, all right. Yeah.
Actually, pardon me, Mr. Janneh, it's the last page of the document. The very last page of the document.
That's page 4, I've paginated it. So you have recovering. Oh, well, I do not find it there yet.
It clause 8, subclause 1. Do you wish that I read it for you? It's on the very last page of the document.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all. I wouldn't be surprised. It's clause 8, is it?
Yes, clause 8.
Oh, right. The last thing I have here is clause 6. Yeah, please. I can't. Is it? Have you seen it? Ah, okay. Okay, it's after the schedule.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, duration. It's right there. The commission shall complete inquiry within a period of 3 months. That's it. I was sure we had all.
Yes, if you could speak into the mic.
Yeah,
Mr.
but then nobody knew how long this was going to take. I mean, just look at the report. Sorry. The report consisted of 1,600 pages. And we, the commissioners, assisted by the lead counsel, did the report. Honestly, we didn't hire anybody, as is usual, when you have a big commission like this. Then you had to deal with cattle, land, as far as the assets were concerned. Shares, shareholdings, boats. Oh yes, there were even boats. There were cars. And
thank you, Mr. Janneh. Thank you.
And we divided the assets into 3 categories. This must not be missed at all. We had the luxury cars. We were very, very concerned about. By the way, I don't know whether it is true or not, but I read in the newspapers that they discovered about 11 luxury cars at State House, unused, gathering dust. I don't know how true it is, but it may be of interest to you. These were some of the luxury.
Thank you.
We classify them as luxury cars. These big Benzes that, very highly expensive vehicles, and Bentleys and so on. I remember even one Bentley had, whether you believe it or not, something like a conference table. Okay. All the back steps. I remember it was so clear. Maybe used by the president on the road or something. So these were very luxurious cars. So we put them aside. Then you had the tractors we put aside. Then you had cattle we put aside. Then we had the ordinary cars. Then you had the real properties, the land, that's what we call the landed properties. Because real property was a bit technical, so we tended to call them landed properties. And then the shareholdings, big amounts of money with regard to the shares in some of these expensive companies. Those are basically the assets.
Thank you.
So when one talks of assets, I've seen that all over the newspaper. They simply talk of
What is?
no. It's very different.
Mm-hmm.
These are the categories
Definitely.
of assets. Let me say this. On the people that were employed for the commission. I say for because we didn't have our own budget.
Yes, Mr. Jammeh, thank you very much. The committee is very interested
Yes, there is one thing.
in that,
Just one
the
thing.
component of budget, but
Yeah, there is just one important thing
very well.
I wanted to show you concerning the sorry, can you give me concerning the personnel 1 and 2. You have it? Okay. Now if you look at 1 and 2, volumes 1, it's volume 1 really.
Of the report,
Volume 1 and 2 are in this, put together. Now,
for the record,
Sorry?
the witness is referring to volume 1 and 2 of the report.
yes. I don't know whether you have them, but if you look at acknowledgement, right at the beginning, you have acknowledgement. Acknowledging, saying brief remarks as to those who are employed. You will find the number of people employed. That is where you will find this huge number of people employed by the commission, generally speaking, but by the relevant officer, namely the lead counsel, and the names are there, those who were among the people with the lead counsel, and then the secretary, and it's there, the people who were with the, so that will give you a good picture of the huge amount of
Number of staff.
yes.
Thank you very much,
What
Mr.
not
Jammeh.
paid by us. They were all paid by or through the government finance, probably in consultation with the Ministry of Justice, but government, definitely.
So the understanding the committee has from the previous witness the committees form the Minister of Justice, the current Minister of Justice.
Oh, I see. Yes.
The understanding of the committee is that the commission recruited personnel from a vast majority of places, including public service and private service.
Yes.
And those staff, that means their salary. However, an additional allowance.
The person who can help on that.
Mr. Jammeh, perhaps if you could draw it closer to you.
I think the person who can help on that. Not. What? No. We never decided that. Well, in fact, the question to pose is, where would we have got the money?
It is the committee's understanding that the commission was subvented through the vote of the Ministry of Justice. I'm not sure whether you understand that. That is public service language.
Yes, I was a civil servant years and years ago.
Fantastic.
But I can tell you that if they did so, then they must have done it internally. Probably the subvention went back to the ministry.
So how?
I've never ever signed anything to pay out any sum of money from the commission. But I've told you that the budget was controlled by the ministry. So it may well be that they got subvention.
So on that note, you mentioned that the budget was controlled by the Ministry of Justice.
Their own budget.
Indeed.
Maybe maybe they got it from the general budget of the country. But we never had a budget. One thing though I've told you, that right at the beginning there was a draft coming from the Ministry of Justice, which we all sat, including the lead counsel and the secretary of the commission, who was in fact also an accountant and owning a teaching institution somewhere, Wolof or something. Yes. We sat down, we said, okay, this is what we need, this is what we need. But then, at that time, we thought the commission would take only 3 months or more, or a bit more. Of course, we were aware that we could ask for extension. But I swear that nobody could have done that commission for less than the time.
That is understood,
So,
Mr. Janneh.
well, we understood from our own understanding, that was what we, and then the budget, the draft budget we discussed there must have been taken to, I don't know who, maybe the Minister of Finance, maybe the government, the cabinet generally. And they decided to incorporate it somehow. I don't know how, but they would know how.
Thank you, Mr. Jammeh.
I don't know even whether they went to Parliament. I don't even know that. But for money to be taken from us and given to somebody else, no. How could we do that, in fact, when we... I've never been aware of that.
Thank you. So, Mr. Jammeh, you just confirmed that the commissioners, including lead counsel and the secretary, were consulted on a budget, so to speak, for the commission. Oh, isn't that so?
That, yeah, the very first...
The very first set of budget.
There is no doubt about that.
So was that for the period of 3 months, or was it for a monthly period?
Well,
do you recall?
I seem to recall for 3 months.
For 3 months.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Aside from consultations as with respect to the budget, with respect to the institutional structure of the commission, the organogram of the commission, was that left to the commissioners or secretary, or did the ministry, by extension the government, have a say in that as well?
I would like to say that the government would have had nothing to do with it, because as you have explained to me, some of the personnel were taken from government service, paid their general salaries, but given an allowance. And in fact, I can confirm that a lot of the interpreters and people who did a lot of them were were officers from the judiciary of the Gambia. In fact, it would have been impossible for us to proceed without their assistance, because they were experienced and so on, and knew how to take evidence, etc. And they helped a lot. How they were paid, I don't know. But I think they must have had a general salary. And as you said, given an allowance. Also, there were non-government officers, like some specialized accountants, like I think those who understood cattle, for instance. I mean, those were under the secretary, of course. Yeah.
So, Mr. Janneh.
That was how we dealt with things.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Mr. Janneh, administratively,
yeah.
did the Commission adopt any practices to safeguard its institutional dependence from external actors such as perhaps the Ministry of Justice or the government at large?
Look, I'll tell you one thing. I mean, as far as I am concerned,
if you could kindly speak into the mic.
Sorry. As far as I am concerned, rejected it completely, and the letter has been sent. You have seen the letter. If they had continued, I would have resigned.
Very well.
I'm a very independent person.
Very well.
No matter what anybody says,
Very well.
I've always been independent. And, well, I believe I've been very, very fair and transparent in my life.
Thank you, Mr. Janneh. In fact,
so these are the examples.
In fact, that example is of severe interest to the committee.
Yes.
However, the committee would like to engage you on that on a different day.
All right.
For today, we would like to gauge the mind of the commissioners in setting up the commission and what ensued in the beginning stages.
Okay. Well, I'll answer any question you pose on that.
Thank you. The staff of the commission, from the answers you have provided today, it seems the commissioners had very little to do with the administration of the commission.
Yes, in that regard, yes.
So who would be, in your view, the individual responsible for administration?
No, there was no administrative officer as such, but we had a secretary. And the secretary was assigned quite a few things. He did the normal work of a secretary, which I don't think needs elaboration.
Oh, on the contrary, Mr. Janneh, we would benefit from some context.
Okay.
Please elaborate the role of the secretary.
Yes, or any question you may wish to pose. Now, he he was the depository, if you like, of the documents of the commission. All the documents, although we had some of the documents, of course, that were copied to us from government, from some other people, he was the depository. And I told you already that he got his own office where he kept the files. It's obvious he was the keeper of the files. Now, when we required a file, he would bring the file. Also, he was the court clerk, if you like. I'm using the word court quite liberally, if you like. Whenever we were in court, he or his deputy would sit with us give the oath more or less as the clerk here is doing, yeah. And then, of course, the exhibits and so on. There were so many exhibits, so many. Oh, by the way, before I forget, I don't know whether the commission is aware of this. The Americans were so good, and it's written in the report, that they came, well, through official channels.
If I may, Mr. Janneh, that issue is also of very...
Okay, I didn't know
it's of interest to the committee, but we will shelve it for a later date.
We'll shelve it then.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
If I may ask...
Sometimes I say some of these things because I have this feeling that nobody had time to read all the documents of the commission. So something must have escaped some people. I know that some people love to read, and maybe one or two read the entire report. It is 9 volumes. But I have a feeling a lot of people, including journalists, who've shown a lot of interest, never read a page. Some people did not read even a page. That's why I'm elaborating sometimes.
That's fine. Perhaps
there's some missed.
Indeed. And you are entitled to that, but we will have an opportunity to address those issues extensively.
I'm happy. Yeah.
Perhaps we're the lucky few in the nation that have read the entirety or a large portion of what is available. Pardon?
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Because I can put my heart on the floor that maybe, I don't think you have more than 20 people who did what you did, the entirety. But that's your job.
That is indeed our job.
Yeah.
Just to steer back,
yeah.
You had mentioned that the role of the secretary was the ordinary role of a secretary as the custodian of the records and duty bound to take minutes and whatnot.
Yes. And also he was assigned to sell.
We would also get into that. We are also interested in that.
Okay.
However, looking at the setup of staff, would you say that the rest of the staff supporting the commission were under the secretary per reporting lines? Would you say that they would report to the secretary, with the exception of the investigators, which you made clear that reported to lead counsel?
Yes.
What about the other staff of the commission?
I've made a division between the secretary and the lead counsel. Now, whom are you referring to? Because if you want to elaborate, I'll have to make reference to the acknowledgement, because that shows everything. I can't remember.
By all means, make reference to any document you wish.
As I said, report volume 1 and 2. But for our purposes, only look at volume 1. But they are in the same book, volume 1 and 2, all right? Now, if you look at volume 1, there is an acknowledgement happily stating all personnel there. I'll give you an example. A few of us are ever given the opportunity or occasion to serve our country. Okay, let's do that. Many commissions of inquiry preceded this commission. However, no other commission is yet to be confronted by a task of such magnitude and complexity as is apparent from the report. Remember, this was before the TRRC. I acknowledge, in fact, that the TRRC was bigger and greater. That's why you had, I think, was it 9 of them And that's why perhaps you had the TRRC Act. And that's why perhaps they had so much money flowing from outside and being well equipped. I'm just making a distinction between the two, all right? Now, our thanks go to Honorable Attorney General, Minister of Justice, Abubakar Tambedu, for appointing an independent counsel to the commission and for the important support and input of his office, led by Solicitor General and Legal Secretary, Cherno Mane. That was the, I don't know whether he's still there. Sorry, Cherno Marina. Okay, in the administrative aspect of the commission in terms of both human and logistical support.
Mr. Janneh, if we could skip to the 5th or the 6th paragraph.
Yeah.
The one that begins with, we thank.
We thank the IG of police for providing a team.
Pardon me. If we could skip to the paragraph following that.
Following that. Yes. The secretariat was headed by Al-Haji Mamadi Quran and later by Ramatulai Saar. You know, that was some kind of problem. And
we will get into that. Yes. But for now, you can go on.
Our gratitude goes to them and their colleague Fatou Drame, Kumba Diouf, and there is a whole list there.
I will not burden you with going through the whole list.
So all these people work under
the secretary.
The secretary, and therefore under the commission, without us paying them. They got their pay as you described yourself.
Except for the secretary, of course, who was not a public servant.
Oh, the secretary was specially appointed by the president.
Indeed.
It was the president himself who appointed the secretary.
Indeed.
Okay, but you can see so many people there. To the surveyor, Buja Janneh, the technician, Dauda Gay, Ibrahima Drame, Pajan, the consultants, there were several consultants, accountants and so on, Sankum Philot and Bakari Sanyang.
That's fine, Mr. Janneh, that's fine. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, but that's with regard to Mamadi. Yeah. And then you had the others, council. It wasn't only the lead council that helped.
Yes, council was...
She probably had 6.
A team of other council.
Yeah.
And investigators.
Yeah.
So what is clear right now is that you had the commissioners. I can identify 3 sections of the commission.
Yeah.
You had the commissioners.
Yeah.
You had lead counsel, or rather counsel and investigators reporting to the lead counsel.
Yes.
And then you had the secretariat,
yes,
headed by the secretary.
Yes.
And it is my assumption, please correct me if I'm wrong, that the rest of the staff who were not part of the investigation team or the lead counsel fell under the secretariat. Was that the case?
Yes. Not, I do not want to be absolute on that, because there might have been 1 or 2
sure.
That fell under the lead counsel. But I can't remember that at this moment, at this point in time.
With regards to the autonomy of the commission, and with specific focus on the staff of the commission, did the commission have full control over its staff?
I would say so, because there were reports here and there from the yeah, I said there were reports.
Sure.
Once in a while, here and there, coming from both sides, council and secretary.
So you confirm that the commission generally had authority if I complete that way, over everybody appointed to it or allocated to it?
Not every, I've said no, not everybody, because some of them were consultants. All right? The secretary, for instance, might have had a contract, or whether oral or written, with a person to act as consultant. And when that was done, we would of course be informed. But he carried out the administrative duties, not the commission. Let me tell you here, the commission was extremely busy. Extremely, we worked, and I tell you, when I say we worked from 1 to 4 o'clock, sometimes after 4, for 5 days a week. In between, we had to have meetings, write-ups, reading, plenty of reading, because the exhibits consist of thousands of papers. Thousands, I can tell you that. Some exhibits, exhibit 1 maybe 1 piece of paper. Exhibit 2 maybe 30 or more pages. And our eyes had to run through all of them. If it mainly dealt with accounts, then the accountant will lead, naturally. If it had to deal with bank, the banker would lead. If it had to deal with law, the lawyer, and I'm talking about me, would lead what? Lead counsel. This is how it works. The lead counsel would be present if needed. In other meetings, the 3 of us would deal with matters, including queries, including all sorts of things.
Thank you, Mr. Jammeh.
Yeah.
As chairperson, and if your knowledge would extend to the other 2 commissioners, were you required to declare any prior professional or institutional affiliation that may have created or any perceived conflicts of interest?
Whether we were required?
Whether you were required to disclose any affiliations.
Required by whom?
By the appointing authority.
Well, I suppose all I can say is that as far as I am concerned, I don't see any document or something that do this, that, or the other. And let me say, it was probably done entirely by trust. Because if you look at my CV, you will see why. You know. If you want me to spell it out, I'll do. Although I have spelled it out already in the document.
You may still go on for the record.
Yes, I'll do so. Oh my, first of all, as I explained just now, as a little boy, I worked at the lab. This was a long time ago. But so I'm not talking of this was long before you were born. You see, I was a civil servant. I tell you that, not only once but twice. I worked at the Crown Law and Lands Office. That was how it was called then. You know, under the Solicitor General who dealt with it. The Solicitor General was Sir Philip Bridges, who later became the Chief Justice of the Gambia, and encouraged me like hell, with the help of my father, to get into the civil service again. That's how I got into the civil service when I finish my studies. At that time, there was no university here, so I studied in London and all. So, well, let's in my, I practiced as I became master and registrar of the High Court. In fact, I was the first master of the High Court, civil servant again, if you like. Then after 2 years, having satisfied the sentiments of my father, I decided to go into private practice. And I was in private practice all along until I retired, about 2 years ago. Now, so I believe it Gambia, State Committee. I was. As the people going around, that was very important, and people were waiting. We went from here to Basse. I was handling the western region here. That is up to the end of Honyi from here. Some other people were dealing with Banjul.
Fantastic, Mr. Jammeh. That is fantastic. Honorable Chair,
Yes.
I believe this is a convenient point to take a break for lunch and prayers, if you will.
Thank you. Meeting is adjourned for lunch break for a period of 30 minutes, and we'll come back again. Thank you, Mr. Jammeh. We'll break for 30 minutes.
Yes, that's convenient.
We have lunch for you as well.
Sorry?
I said we also have lunch for you.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned.
All right. 30 minutes.
Aló, 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 aló. Aló, 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 aló. Aló, 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 aló. allo, 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 allo. Allo, 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 allo. Allo, 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 allo. Allo, allo. Allo, 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 allo. Allo, 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 allo.